5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
This is Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble. Goes from now until midnight, and that's on the East Coast of the United States. If you're out in the West Coast, it goes until let's see here. Would that be 70? Well, it was. You know what time? It goes till 9. Does it go? What time does it go till? It goes till 9 out on the West Coast. And if you want me to tell you what time it's going to be in the Midwest, I can't tell you. I'm not going to even try and figure that out. Hey, it's time for us once again to talk to a dear friend of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Larry Bubbles Brown, or as he's known, Bubs. Do you have any? They have any other nicknames for you?
Loser.
Loser.
Get out of the business. Many nicknames, yes.
It's a little too late for you to get out of the business, right?
Yeah, I said I finally got a retirement plan. I bought a gun.
Okay, well...
I saw the funniest... I was watching Seinfeld, Comics and Cars, the other day, and Seinfeld was talking about a great joke, and they cut to a clip of Dangerfield, one I'd never heard. His wife is leaving him, and he said, "Is there someone else?" And she said, "There has to be."
Oh boy! Well,
he may have been the best, right?
Yeah, but Ben is the operative term here. You know, once you're dead, you're not a great comic anymore.
No.
You know, you may be remembered as a great comic, but you're not a great comic.
Right.
You know. You know, Dangerfield was terrific. I mean, he was.
Did you ever have him on the show?
Never.
Wow.
Never interviewed Rodney Dangerfield.
That would have been great.
He's one of the ones I missed. Part of the reason is that when I was living in New York and doing shows in New York, Dangerfield wasn't a factor. Okay? And then when I moved to San Francisco and he was a factor, he never came to San Francisco, so I never had him on. And I don't think I ever did him on the phone. Sometimes I think I didn't interview somebody, and then it turns out I did. And so that's, that's the name of that tune. I don't think I ever interviewed Dangerfield, ever. Not that I didn't want to, and not that I think I tried, but we weren't able to do it or whatever. He wasn't like the most acquiescent person in that respect. I'm sure. If he were more into doing interviews, I think it's somewhere along the line I would have done him. He would have popped up on my radar.
Yeah.
But I don't even think did he ever leave New York, or did he do most of his comedy in New York?
He did Vegas. He did come out here right when I started comedy and did the Warfield.
Yeah.
But I think that was the only time he was, the whole time I was doing comedy, I think that was the only time he was ever out here.
So did you see him then?
No, but...
See? So,
he was very, very elusive.
Yeah, well, some of these comics were elusive, and because they were in New York, they weren't as accessible. In those days, today, all of them are accessible. They travel the whole country, but in those days, sometimes a guy like Seinfeld, like Dangerfield, would just remain in New York, and that was it. Or he would play Vegas occasionally. But, is he going to go play Memphis? I doubt it.
No, I think Dangerfield pretty much did New York and occasionally Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. And, so, and you never met up with him, right?
No, no.
I never did either. God, when I think of all the comedians that I've done over the years, to even think that I never did do Dangerfield is kind of interesting.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, you would have thought somewhere we would have crossed paths somehow.
Or at least a phoner or something,
Well, no, I mean, in the early days, I had Seinfeld in the studio, because Seinfeld traveled around the country doing his comedy. So, but when people say, did you ever do, what's his name? Did you ever do Dangerfield? I go, no, I don't think I ever did, And there are very few comics, by the way, that I can say that about. Even some of what we would say the more elusive. I mean, Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, sure, I had her on. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just that somehow this guy, to begin with, he had a club in New York, so that was his home stage. And I don't remember him doing much traveling around. Do you ever remember him coming to San Francisco and playing San Francisco?
Yeah, just that one time.
That one time, yeah. So you never know, But he certainly was great, And
you had Seinfeld. That was the early years?
no, he had just, I think, started the TV show.
Oh, okay, so he was plugging that.
Yeah, he was plugging that. It's funny, people forget that the first 2 seasons of Seinfeld, I think, were only either like 4 or 6 shows, and that was it.
I think it was 4, yeah.
It was 4. I know it was 4 the first one. And he did like 4 episodes, and that was it. And they somehow figured, what could hurt? Let's give him another run. And I think maybe the second run was 6. And then all of a sudden, I think Cheers went off, and they said, what are we going to put in that Thursday slot? And they said, let's give Seinfeld a try. The shows have looked pretty good. They've been improving, Yeah,
the first ones are pretty awful.
Well, they tested terribly. Was, in those days, they used to, test shows, and they tested Seinfeld, and his shows tested very badly. So, who knows? So,
well, it would have been pulled off the air if it was debuted now. So give you 2 chances.
If you don't make it in the first couple of episodes, they'll pull it off even if you've shot 13 of them. Nothing gets a chance anymore. That's why everybody has gone to cable and to internet and so on, because at least Netflix will give you 13 or 10 or however many they consider as a season for that particular show. With the networks, what was it? Who's our friend? The guy who lives in Sacramento, and
Jack Gallagher.
Jack Gallagher. He got a show, and it was supposed to debut, and they were going to do 2 debuts. It was going to be, I think, a Saturday and a Sunday, or a Sunday and a Monday, and there were going to be 2 episodes, one each night. And they took out 2-page ad in TV Guide, where you opened it up and it folded out, and the 2 pages were all Jack Gallagher, right? And the show was supposed to run, I think, that Sunday night. And come Sunday morning or something, they decided they're canceling it, and they never ran it. I mean, that's how fast those things happen in those days.
Yeah.
And what happened was, between the time he shot the shows and the time that he was supposed to debut the shows, they fired the old head of comedy at the network and put in a new one. And, of course, that one said, well, I got my own ideas. This isn't funny,
Mm-hmm.
And Jack Gallagher got screwed. Literally screwed. I think they maybe played off what he had done later on in the year somehow, just to get it out of the way and to get their money's worth. But 2 whole pages in TV Guide for a show that never went on. That was terrible. That was just terrible.
Yeah, you should have Jack on and talk about that. It's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, and Jack, I guess he's been fairly successful in Sacramento. I think he had like TV shows and.
Oh, he's done really well, and he's done like 6 one-man shows, and he's really. I worked with him a couple months ago. He's so talented, a great guy,
A nice guy,
the best.
Really nice guy. And I always felt bad for Jack over that one. That was really getting screwed.
Yeah, he would have been huge, I think, if they'd let that thing run.
Well, maybe not, but they should have let it run. Hell, you shot the fucking thing. You took out a fold-out 2-page ad in TV Guide. The least you can do is get your money's worth.
Be nice to see it, yeah.
Yeah. So I just, it kind of was amazing that happened the way it did. And if people don't know who Jack Gallagher is, he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm on several occasions as Larry's doctor.
Right.
But that's about it. That's all I've ever seen of him, and it's kind of sad because he was a very good. Jack Gallagher was a great comedian. Still is.
Still is.
But do you ever meet up with him at all? You must play.
Yeah, I said we worked a couple of months ago together, and he said he'd love to do your show. So.
Oh, really? I should give him a call. I'll get some information from you on him.
Okay.
I really liked Jack, and I really felt he should have had a bigger career.
Mm-hmm.
He was an influence for a lot of different comics, and most comics will say Jack Gallagher is one of the best. But just because you're good doesn't mean you make it. It's really a luck of the draw. I mean, how many terrible comics do make it?
A lot.
A lot. I'm trying to think of some of them, but we need not name names. But you go, why? And why did they get the break, and a guy like Jack Gallagher didn't get the break? I mean, he got the break, but then they stole it from him. So, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the. When you were hosting Comedy Tonight, he had a set on there that was like one of the strongest sets I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah. He was one of these guys. I often said, sometimes you can be too good looking for comedy. And he kind of was too good looking for comedy. I mean, he's a good looking guy. But that's precisely the kind of guy I guess should be doing comedy. Because he confounds you by being funny and looking so good.
Yes, most of us are trolls, so that's when you get a good-looking comic. It's a rarity.
And you play on the troll factor.
Yeah, that's probably why we're comics. But.
I mean, your style of comedy, which is the style of, what can I call it, deprecation?
Self-deprecation.
Self-deprecation. Yeah. Would not play well with a guy who didn't have a mug like you do.
Brad Pitt couldn't be self-deprecating.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, folks, Brad Pitt trying to do stand-up comedy. It's just not possible. But Larry Bubbles Brown, on the other hand, has a face made for comedy.
We had to be comics.
You had no other choice.
Yes.
You couldn't even be a real estate salesman with that face.
No, probably not.
You want to buy this house?
It's probably got a leaky roof.
Yeah, if you want to buy it, I won't stand in your way. But do you feel that? Do you know any really good-looking people who are good comics?
I've only heard, because I never know what women consider good looking. There's a guy named Gary Gulman he's very funny, and supposedly he's very good looking.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of a comedian who's really good looking who is incredibly funny. And I can't... Huh?
Yeah, that would be...
What?
Dana's cute. I don't think you consider him like a leading man kind of guy.
Yeah, Dana has a impish quality, which again lends to comedy. But you can't call him handsome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine Robert Redford trying to do stand-up comedy?
That'd be great.
I mean, it just wouldn't work. And you have a face absolutely made for comedy. I mean, I often said that when you were on Letterman, I was amazed, with your two Letterman shots, which were 20 years apart. Am I right? Is it 20 years?
21.
21 years apart. Excuse me. I didn't want to minimize it. And the reason he didn't come back the second time is he could have called them like 6 months later and they would have seen him and put him on, but he never called, right, Bubs?
I wanted to play hard to get.
Well, no, you wanted your life to be a failure, is what you wanted, and you were
That's
working.
What I've been told.
You're working really hard at it. Okay, but anyway, so you went on the Letterman show, and I said, this is the best Bubs has ever been because he fills the whole screen. That I never realized how comedically photogenic you were. And what you said and what you did was very, very funny. And part of it was your face and the expressions on your face, which even on a stage don't play as well as they did to that camera. So
yeah, I mug a little more. Like people never notice it in the club, but on TV, the camera picked it up.
Yeah, and when I saw you on Letterman the first time, I went, he killed. I said, he just absolutely killed. And I figured after that you'd be a star and not even talk to me. But then you did the second shot on Letterman, and it was just as good, if not better. And I just said, you should have been on TV more than you have been, because in close-up you really work, because your face has that deadpan kind of look to it that's fun.
Yeah.
So,
I should have done more TV.
You should have done more TV. You should have done, how old are you now? 65, something like that?
67.
67. Yeah. So, I mean, really, you should have done more.
This is the age where you just look back over your life and start regretting everything.
Well, I keep thinking, like, if I had to start all over again, what would I do differently? And the fact is that if I started over today, let's say there is reincarnation, and let's say I die tomorrow, and then I've got about 20 years till I finally discover that I'm going to be in radio or whatever. Could I do it again? And it's just a whole different set of circumstances now. I don't know that I would have made it in radio today, because there isn't radio. I would have had to have done a podcast, and
you would have done a podcast and probably done very well.
Well, I would have had to be very original. I don't know that I can do a podcast, even though I do one, because I don't have what it takes by today's standards to do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm a little too. I don't know what is needed for a podcast to be successful, because all I'm doing as a podcast is basically a radio show, and that's not what a podcast is. And how often should you do a podcast? I do 4 a week. Probably I should only be doing 1, maybe 2 a month. And that's it. But I do this 4 days a week because that's what you do in radio. Well, you do 5 days a week, but I figured I could get away with 4, and I'm doing 4. And I may slow it down to 3 for all I know. But I don't know that I am podcast friendly, as it were. Because I'm doing a radio show. That's it. And I'm also having to deal with the technology, which each and every year starts to vex me more and more, where before I used to be really good at it. But in your case, I saw there a comic who worked very well on television, and it was just strange that you didn't get more TV. And now you're too old for it, right?
Now I'm too old.
No, really. I mean, a guy like some of those late shows. I was thinking about it, and they say, well, if you get older, they don't want you. And I go, well, yeah, I don't know. And then all of a sudden we start thinking about it, and it's really true. Because you think about who's the oldest comic we know that's emerged on television, and that would be Lewis Black. Lewis is, God, I don't know how old Lewis is, but he's well into his 60s.
Oh, I think he's older than me. So
yeah.
Probably between me and you.
But how often do you see him lately on television?
He just he had a big run, and then suddenly I haven't seen him in a couple, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and you know why? It's that whole age thing. Well, you know, he's really too old to give a special to. We have to give it to Aziz Ansari, and yet, Lewis Black's one of the funniest men in the universe. Nobody makes me laugh harder than Lewis Black, except maybe Larry Bubbles Brown, But who knows who he is? So anyway, yeah.
Well, Lewis must have made a lot of money because he was hot for a while.
Oh yeah.
Selling out big theaters.
Do you know he used to he used to book jazz clubs, I think, in the early years. He
did not know that.
He didn't start doing comedy until much later, and he had been. Who did I hear ran into him because he was booking a club? It wasn't a comedy club; it was like a music club. And so Lewis has been around for a long time, and I think, again, one of the best comics alive. And yet, I haven't seen a Lewis Black special lately. Have you?
I haven't seen him in so long. That's kind of freaky now that I think about it.
Well, I don't think you'd see him anyway because you don't have cable, right?
That's true.
Am I right? You don't have cable?
Yeah, I don't have cable.
Really? You just get all your stuff through the antenna?
Well, yes, but it has to be. I had to get the digital converter box since they went digital. So.
Yeah. But you still get it. You still get all your signals off the air.
Still get all the free TV. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Many I get many channels.
Who doesn't have cable these days? Larry
Really?
Bubbles Brown, obviously.
My sister has it, and when I go to her house, I just go, God, I wouldn't pay for this. So.
Why wouldn't you pay for it?
Nothing that I want to see, I don't think.
Well, but the fact that cable exists means there are more opportunities for you to be on TV, and of course, you don't take that opportunity. So, But they wouldn't even hire you. Like Comedy Central, you come into them and say, "I'm 67 years old.
That was gone 20 years
I'm the
ago.
funniest fucking comic alive." And then they will go, "Sorry, we don't go over." They don't go over, I think, 40 now.
Oh, I know a couple of comics about 38, and they submitted to the Tonight Show, and they were just told, too old.
How, here's what I don't get. Guy's 38, all right? Now, if you look, some guys who are 38 look like they're 32. And some guys who are 38 look like they're 50 or 60, all right? You can't tell how old somebody is by looking at them, all right? And so why that suddenly becomes a factor as soon as they know how old you are is amazing to me. Either in comedy, you're either funny or you're not funny. That's all. And if you're funny, hell, you could be 90, and I still would want to book you on my show.
Yeah. Ageism is accepted. I know the writing in TV, that 30 years ago, they were saying, oh, if you're over 35, you really can't get a job writing in TV.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. But what the hell?
I remember guys that had written for MASH were actually taking that off their resume because it aged them like 10 years after the show was off the air.
And yet you wrote for MASH.
Yeah. So.
You know. But, I mean, it just is amazing to me that age has become a factor, whether you're considered to be funny or not. And they think, well, they're just not going to play to a younger audience. To me, a joke is a joke. I don't care. You know, is there any age to a joke? You know, maybe take my wife, please. But beyond that, you know, there isn't much ageism in jokes. Hey, listen, we've run out of time.
It flew by.
Want to do this again next week?
You got it.
Larry, leave us with some happy thoughts.
We'll be alive next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Okay, that's it. There's Larry Bubbles Brown. I hope you enjoyed him. Ta-da. Okay, good. Good. Okay, let me turn my mic up here. I'm trying to get all my sound and everything working correctly here. The last couple of days, there's been a certain problem with it. But let me see here. First, I gotta open up Skype. Where's Skype? Where is it? There it is. Yeah. What happened last night, the problem I was having was it turns out that Skype reinstalled itself or something, and it made it so I couldn't bring all my panel up, my citizen panel up, which is now going to should work okay. So in other words, folks, it's time now for you to give me a call, and our lines are open. And I'm going to be, oh, look at me, I'm mooraying. Look at that. See, that's what they call mooraying. Here, let me put this on, and then I won't moray as much. Mooraying is when people wear stripes. Oh, look, Charlie Wallace is calling, so we'll open up our line there. And I don't know if he was, oops, and there's Phil Meyer. There's Phil Meyer. I'll add Phil Meyer to the list. Let me also put Charlie in here. Let me see here. Let me get Charlie in. There's Charlie Wallace. Okay, there we go. Okay, come on. Charlie? What the fuck? Oh, I see.
I was number 8 or something last night.
Oh, you were number 8 last night? Oh, well, you're not tonight, so here we go. Let me see here.
Hey, but you're number 1 tonight.
There we go. There we go. There. What is that stupid hat you've got on?
It's covers my head. It's better than the stupid hat you got on.
What do you mean? What's wrong with this hat?
It's a Trump cap that says you're open to the U.S.
Yeah, right. Right.
What's the 17 on the side mean?
Huh?
The 17 on the side, what's that mean?
The 2017.
Is that the age of the girls you like?
That was the year that it was.
2017.
2017. Right. Yeah. It was the year of the U.S. Open, right? Yeah, good. Yeah, everything seems to be working tonight, which is terrific.
Congratulations.
Okay.
You deserve it.
The show isn't over yet, and tomorrow I have my big doctor meeting, so I'm all upset about that.
Yeah. What kinds of things are you going to discuss?
What do you think we're going to discuss? My urology. This is the second opinion urologist.
Oh, okay. I didn't. You go to so many doctors for so many different things.
No, I don't.
We did. The audience doesn't know. Which doctor.
There are only 3 doctors.
Is what on a given day?
There are only 3 doctors I go to. I go to I have a GP, who's also a cardiologist as well. and I have my urologist, and I have a neurologist for my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
I go to about 8 different doctors.
you see,
Yeah.
so I'm doing okay here. You know,
Well, I went to the doctor this morning.
yeah,
It was my yearly checkup.
yeah,
I told him that I wanted this new drug that Kaiser doesn't offer,
yeah.
and he pulled a fill on me. Uh, when I work with my customers,
Mm-hmm.
I'm honest. I would rather not sell them something that I know is not going to give them what they want than to sell it to them and then have to look at them in 6 months at Safeway and have them, look me in the face. So, I'd pass on a customer like that. So my doctor today does a similar thing. He says, you just have to stop eating carbs. I don't want to give you more medicine that's going to destroy your pancreas. He says, just don't eat carbs. And, it's very difficult because.
No, it's not. It is so fucking simple. It's ridiculous, Phil.
Carbs are addictive. It's like cocaine or heroin.
No, I mean, yeah, I gave it up. I take some carbs in. You can't live without carbs. You need them in.
That's because you're the exceptional Alex Bennett. But I'm the addicted Phil Meyer, and giving up carbs is a little more difficult for me at this stage than it was.
What are you gonna if you don't do carbs? What are you gonna be missing?
I'll be missing the accelerated feeling you get from eating sugar. Now, of course, after you have the sugar, what happens is you go up and then you go down.
Yeah.
And the down I usually sleep through because when I get those sugar rushes, I take a nap because of what happens after I eat sugar.
Well, Phil, the simplest thing to quit are carbs. Really, of all the things,
I understand.
It's easier.
Meat all the time is boring.
Huh?
And protein all the time can become boring.
You can get invented
and you don't get
it.
that sugar rush.
You can have nuts, certain nuts.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of things. It's
yeah,
just.
well, I understand. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I was.
So what was this drug you wanted that he wouldn't give you?
It was called Victosa, and what it is, it's like an EpiPen, and once a week you stick yourself with it, and that's all you do. But it's not insulin. What it does is it gets your body to use the insulin that you have. But what he said was he would rather me just stop eating carbs, and then I wouldn't need it or the metformin or the glipizide or the miglinol.
That's right. I mean, why you've had diabetes, and why you refuse to adhere yourself to a diabetic eating plan is beyond me.
Well,
I'm on a diabetic plan, and just for the weight loss, and it's pretty damn simple. I mean, it's the simplest of all the diets you can do.
Exactly. But you're home a lot. I'm out. I'm in the car. I'm going places. You pass fast food. The fast food is addictive. I finally stopped at McDonald's and all of those things, and I pretty much cut out the fast foods. But you go into In-N-Out Burger and you get a protein wrap burger, and the guy says, hey, I'm getting a lettuce wrap. He says, you want French fries? Well, yeah, I want French fries, but why would I order a lettuce wrap if you're going to give me French fries? So the world is out to make you eat carbs.
Yeah.
Charlie knows.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
nobody makes
doctor,
you. I disagree with you. I completely disagree with you. I mean, I found that once I get going on a low carb diet, it's pretty easy to maintain, and I don't miss anything sweet at all now.
I understand. I had lost weight on Atkins about 10 years ago. I kept it off for 5 years, and then it came on like a vengeance, the weight. But the thing is, what I'm saying about this doctor is that he was honest with me. he said, I'm not going to give you something that's going to wreck your pancreas.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you that if you don't straighten out in 10 or 15 years, you're going to be dead. And, I said, oh, 15 years, that's not so bad. but, but on the other hand, he was honest with me. He did to me what I do with my customers. And, it's made me realize that this is really what I got to do.
Well, what you wanted to do is you wanted to take the easy way out.
Of course,
And he
that's
doesn't
exactly
and
what
he doesn't
said
want you
when
to
he
take
made me realize.
he doesn't want you to take the easy way out. He wants you to take a life change.
Changing, right.
Yeah. And
I was so adamant about getting this that I was willing to change from Kaiser to another to a PPO just so I could get what I wanted. And I went in there today and I said, I want you to write me a script for this thing and assign me and I'll buy it outside the system. And basically he just looked at me and says, you're willing to spend $400 for these drugs, but you're not willing to cut out the carbs. So, and he was right. I mean, the guy was right.
you're sitting,
Yeah.
on your screen pals right now with somebody I'm sure is on a low carb diet, right, Charlie? Because you had diabetes.
He ate his
Yeah,
toast.
but I really couldn't adhere to it until I retired. Like Phil said, once I've got control over my time, then it's easier to do that.
Well, the thing I found about low carbs is it's an easy diet to maintain even if you're out and about. You just have to just say, you can get yourself a hamburger, just throw the bun away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, simple things like that. You're going to be, you can stick to it, okay.
Drink water instead of sodas. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If I'm out and they, I'll take the iced tea and I'll put like stevia in it instead of a sweet, as a sweetener.
I've had my coffee here, and it's got stevia in it, and it's fine, I just find that what I do now is I've modified it a little bit so that I'm taking in maybe about 30 carbs a day instead of
Really?
20. But I mean, basically, I have nuts. They're low in carbs, and what did I have for dinner today? I had a steak for dinner, and for breakfast, I had 4 sausage patties, 0 carbs there, and then
You
for my
see this tissue?
yeah,
You see this paper tissue?
yeah,
50 carbs.
yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Seems like it sometimes.
So anyway, if I'm not here tomorrow night, it's because I'm so upset by the doctor tomorrow that
What's he going to tell you that's different that the other guy didn't tell you?
What different? No, probably just tell me. The best is he might say, we're not going to let you. You're not going to have a biopsy yet. Okay. We're first thing this other doctor should have done was send me back for another PSA test to just make sure that one was accurate.
Right, wasn't a false positive.
Yeah, or just one which spiked up for whatever reason, although they have been going up. But, I mean, I'm getting older. And
right.
Well, I won't tell you what my PSA was.
What?
What was it?
What was it?
1.1.
1.1? Yeah,
Wow.
but you're how old now, Charlie?
69.
Yeah, you know what mine was just 2 years ago?
No.
1.7. So, I mean.
And it's high now in 2 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You know what mine was about 2 years ago for a short period of time?
What?
17.
Yeah, right.
But I had not pancreatitis. I had what is it? With your prostate when it's an infection.
But for your age, Charlie, 1.1 is about right.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, as you get older, your PSA goes up, and it can go up for any number of different reasons. I mean, it could be, who knows why? I mean, I probably have prostate cancer. there's probably no question about that. At my age, there's a 70% chance that I do.
It could be just due to the enlarged prostate.
Well, no, it could have to do with the fact that I've got prostate cancer, but it may not be a fast-growing one. And most of them, 92% of all biopsied prostates are either slow-growing cancers, which are going to present no problem in the lifetime of the person, or none at all. Okay.
Now, can there be a tumor that is benign and it's not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that could be causing the increased PSA.
No,
but it's benign
because he didn't feel anything when he stuck his finger up my ass about 6 months ago.
That doesn't mean anything. It's the biopsy that's
no,
going
but
to
that's
be able
no,
to
but
determine.
that's how you can feel a tumor. That's why they stick
Yeah.
their finger up your ass.
What if it's on the other side of the thing where he can't fit his finger?
Well, he probably is able to fit his finger.
it's a
Otherwise,
donut.
otherwise he's in
You're out of
the.
luck.
Otherwise,
It's a donut, and you could have had it on the dark
well,
side of the moon.
I also had a sonogram probe, the transrectal sonogram, which would look at the whole thing, and all he saw was calcium deposits.
Did he see the fetus?
No. But, I mean, it could be any one of a number of things, I mean, the only problem is there's a thing called free PSA, and mine was low, and that's not good. But, the fact is that I could have a prostate cancer, but a slow-growing one you wait and watch. I mean, this doctor may say to me, well, in this case, why don't we just wait and watch? It could be his...
That's what they usually do.
Yeah. Let's not immediately go jumping in with both feet. Now, let me. I'm going for a second opinion. Is he going to give me a workup? I mean, is he going to take me in and examine me on a?
I don't know. My second opinion just had a heart-to-heart with me.
Really?
You may want a workup and an exam.
Yeah.
Because you don't trust the workup and exam that you received from the first guy.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
But in order to give me a second opinion, he might have to examine me.
Oh yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, he
bend over.
But I mean, there's a good chance he will. He won't just listen to me. He'll examine me.
Well, if he gives you what you want, he's going to send you for another PSA blood test.
Yeah.
Examining wouldn't be a bad idea, and
Yeah, but part
maybe,
but part of a second opinion is doing a workup, right? I mean, it's checking me out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would imagine. Although, you see, I went to Kaiser, and I got my first opinion from the guy who did the operation, and the second opinion was another urologist at Kaiser.
Yeah.
So they had the same information available to them.
Yeah.
That the first one did.
Yeah. But
you're going to independent guys.
This one doesn't have the results of what he saw when he stuck his finger up my ass or the probe.
That's good, because you don't want him to have any preconceived ideas.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that he would then he'll probably check my prostate tomorrow. Just
I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, they don't charge more.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that because I'm going for a second opinion, and I'm also going to tell him I'm going for a second opinion, but I'm also looking for another.
Well, that puts him in a precarious situation when you say I'm looking for someone else. You might, I don't know. I'd kind of keep that one close to the vest, and then after he gives you the second opinion.
What I'm going to say is I'm looking for a second opinion, but I'm also looking for another doctor as well. That's it.
Well, how do you, except for the fact that the first doctor's office is filthy, how do you know that he didn't give you good advice, and that why would you jump to conclusions that you're looking for somebody else right away?
Because I just don't feel comfortable with him. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Is that enough? And that's what I'm going to tell
you.
You
don't have to prove it to me. I'm just looking from a negotiating point of view. You don't want to influence this guy to say something that you want an honest second opinion without any influences.
I'm sure he will give me an honest second opinion. I'm not worried about that, but I'm saying that if he's going to give me a second opinion, isn't he going to do a little physical workup on me to see if he finds anything?
You would hope so, and if
Yeah.
you like his manner,
Yeah.
you really haven't had any experience with this guy other than the hope
Yeah.
that it's going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah, but
What if
all
you
I'm
have an
saying is, if
experience
I'm
you're not
going for
happy
if
with?
I'm going for a second opinion, this isn't just sitting around talking. He might have to. There's a certain workup he might have to do, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody comes to me with a bid and says, "Can you beat this?" I'd want to measure and go out to their home and see what they're doing, and at least know that it's the right product for their needs. I would imagine the doctor would be a Charlotte. He'd be a bum if he didn't, do his own exam.
Jeff, when you go into a doctor for a second opinion, he does a certain amount of checking up on you, right? He does a certain,
He might do it just right at that time.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
by interviewing you, that might be the start thing.
Yeah, but then he would also, as part of trying to figure out whether, to give me a second opinion, he might give me a physical checkup.
Oh, of course.
Huh?
That's important.
In other words, I can expect he will physically look me over a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
You see, when I had the second opinion, I had already had actually 3 biopsies. I had one in 2010, which was negative, and I had 2 like in 2016 or 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So, and they were both positive.
Yeah, but the only question I'm asking, I don't need that. The question I'm asking is, I'm going in on the basis that I'm going for a second opinion, and as part of the second opinion, is he going to give me a physical workup while I'm there? And you say he will, Jeff, right?
He will, but he may not do it during that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you, can
you
you
may
ask
want
the guy?
to just understand what your requirements are, what you want, what your history is.
Yeah, but I mean, if one of the things he would have to do to check and see whether I have a problem is to do a rectal examination, for instance. So, I mean,
it's a pretty common thing to do.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if I'm going into him and I say I'm coming here for a second opinion, he would probably do that, right?
I would think so.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm wondering.
Okay.
What do you think, Kevin? Is that part of a second opinion? Is giving you a certain amount of medical workup to see if there are any indicators and things like that?
Probably, and he'd probably have you piss in the cup.
Yeah.
And then, good possibility he'd have you bend over after talking to you for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
In other words, probably run a PSA.
Yeah.
Bend over.
Yeah. In other words, just because I'm asking for a second opinion doesn't mean he's not going to do a workup on me to see what his opinion's going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But have you already sent him documents about what position you are presently?
No, but I'm bringing all my PSA reports with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had a blood test done recently?
Yes, about a month ago.
Does he have a content to that?
I have a copy of it with me.
Okay.
That I'm taking with me.
So he may want to do one just to.
Well,
he'll use yours as a baseline.
My
and then
thinking.
maybe do one
See,
for
here's
himself.
what worries me about my doctor. So I get this PSA, and it's about 2 points higher than the old one was. But don't you say, well, let's take another blood test first to make sure that this is right, okay?
Don't they wait a little while before they take another blood test?
Or wait another 6 months or whatever. Let's, to suddenly say we're going to begin with, at my age, I shouldn't be getting PSA tests.
Well, you were complicit in this desire to have it.
I didn't know it. I mean, my doctor, my regular physician, whenever he sent out and had my blood work done, it was just part of the blood work. Now I've told him, don't ask for a PSA. Okay, he says, okay, I won't. But this doctor kept sending me and sending me and sending me. And one time I said to him, I said, well, you know, I've heard that after the age of 75, you shouldn't even get PSA tests. He says, oh, no, I had a guy who was 87, and I had him get PSA tests, and lucky we did because we found a bad cancer going there, and I saved his life. And I'm going...
You mean he would have died at 103?
You know, he's scaring me into taking PSA tests.
Well, that's a question you ask him. You know, ask him about what, you know, is it age appropriate? That's what you ask him.
Ask him what he believes about PSAs. Correct.
Well, I mean, you know, I got to tell you, I've heard from two different, let's see here, two different doctors. Okay, two different doctors. One was my personal physician, who told me, hello, Patrick, how are you? Who told me that, there we go, who told me that, he said, I wouldn't even worry about it. He said, you know, these PSA tests are, you know, hinky at best. And he was the one that didn't feel comfortable with what my doctor, you know, had said to me, you know, what this urologist had proposed. And so he sent me to this new doctor, saying he's a little more conservative and he's, you know, he may not be as ready to do it. But he felt uncomfortable with the results. And then my friend Shecky was at his cardiologist, and he happened to mention my situation, and the guy said, don't even worry about it. He said, it's just, you know.
So it's been in the news that PSA tests have been off and on not as reliable, and that's true.
Yeah.
And my doctor is not worried at 2 points at all. I tell him 2 points is don't worry about that.
I mean, if it goes
6
up to
points, he's not worried about.
And especially at a 6 point something for a 79-year-old. I mean,
yeah,
that's.
I'm 62, and 6 points was nothing.
Oh, 6 points. You had 6 points?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and he didn't say we're off.
He said no. Come back in 6 months, and we'll try it again.
Yeah.
Kevin, was that before they took out your prostate or after?
I still got it.
Yeah.
That's with meds.
Well, you know, we don't know. And I may have prostate cancer, but, you know, in most cases, if you have prostate cancer today, they have lots of ways of solving it. Radiation is one of them. The hormone shots is another, which is not something I would particularly want to go for. You can do what Phil did. Phil just said, I'm sick of this shit. Yank it out. You know.
Well, I was worried about the spread. You know, the tumor hadn't burst, and if it did, it goes usually to the bone.
Yeah. And
you know, I said to myself, you know, I didn't really realize how much I would be affected. You know, between the ED and the urination issues and all of those things, I kind of didn't realize the gravity of what I did. If I had it to do all over again, I might have waited a little bit and possibly looked into the chemo, like what's his name from Kentucky?
Well, did they offer
but you had a diagnosed tumor, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a different situation.
Yeah,
Alex isn't even there yet.
So far, my doctor never felt a tumor. Okay.
Yeah,
and
so you're not even there yet.
Now my test showed that it was a 3-4 on the Gleason scale, which is
a 3-4 on the wait a minute.
That high.
Oh, 3 and a 4, which is a 7.
3-4, yeah.
Yeah.
After they did the prostatectomy, they biopsied the prostate, and it turns out that it was really a 4-4, which is pretty high. And so I made the right decision. Not necessarily. You could have gone for radiation. I could have, but the guy told me it was going to be 50 or 55 treatments, and I said, I'm not. You know, I've seen people that are getting chemo, and I'm not willing to go through that. And
it's not chemo. We're
not
talking chemo. We're talking radiation.
What is radiation?
Yeah, that's not chemo. Chemo's chemical.
Chemical. chemical in your body. Radiation is just a zap to your balls, well, basically.
Yeah, and you go 5 days a week for like about 6 weeks, and after that, supposedly you're okay. Either that, or there's another one where they put seeds in your prostate.
Well, my prostate, if the size of my prostate was 135, how do they measure it? Is it milligrams? And if it's larger than 60, they couldn't use the seeds. So mine was like almost over twice what the size that they could have used seeds.
Yeah.
So between the extremely large
yeah.
prostate and the cancer,
Well,
I just said get rid of it.
Well, they found a tumor in there, which is is a different story too.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sure people are bored with this, but that's all I can think about all day.
You can be happy when it's over tomorrow.
What?
It will be over.
It's all over. You watch, the doctor's going to do. He'll say, "Well, keep an eye on it," and I guarantee you, it'll be good.
Well, I mean, my other doctor wanted to go straight to biopsy, but the part is that a biopsy is about $3,000, so that's easy money in his pocket, And at my age, I mean, I talked to Sloan Kettering, which is a major cancer hospital here, and they said they don't give biopsies to anybody over the age of 75. So, I mean, what's this doctor? I just don't want to rush into something. If this doctor says, yeah, you should have a biopsy, then I'll say, okay, well, I don't want to use the other doctor. You do it, because I don't know if you've ever been to his office, but it looks like I'd be getting a back alley abortion,
Well, I have a friend that had an enlarged prostate. His PSA went up, and he went to UCSF, which gave him very good treatment. They did the thing where they put the probe up your ass and they get an MRI of your prostate, and then they during the biopsy, they then overlay that with the sonogram, so that they can actually look at it like a 360-degree view, 3D view of your prostate. And they can really zero in on the areas that they believe have the tumor or whatever bits of cancer there are. Once they did his biopsy, it came back benign.
Yeah.
So, and he was scared. I mean, he was going through the same thing, and he was 72.
I said to my doctor, "Do you think it's going to come back benign?" And he's kind of went, And I'm going, this guy really wants to do this. It was, and he made the appointment really fast. I was out the door with an appointment, which I then canceled. I'm just hoping this doctor is a little more conservative and says, let's take a wait-see attitude, which is,
Well, this is the guy that was recommended by your other doctor, right?
Yeah. But my other doctor also recommended the current urologist I'm seeing. So
well, maybe the current urologist was fine up until a point.
Well, for me, up to a point, I didn't mind him because there was nothing. I don't want to say life-threatening, but there was nothing really serious to consider. But having him, to begin with, if he did it, and let's say we found cancer, which is a good possibility, okay? Some doctors would say, okay, well, now we'll take a wait-and-see attitude. A year from now, we'll do another biopsy just to make sure things aren't worse, and we're going to keep giving you PSAs. We're going to keep an eye on it, all right? Because you only have a Gleason score of, say, a 6. If I had a Gleason score of 6 with this guy, he'd probably be shooting me up with the hormones immediately.
Well, the Gleason score of a 2.2, they said they don't even
there's no
assess
such
it as
thing.
cancer.
There's no such thing.
No, there is a 2. A 2 on the
I heard
Gleason
that the lowest you can get is a 6, total of 6.
Well, this is a total of 4, and they say it's not. That would not have been when they listed me with the 3.3.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, you've got, and they biopsied it, and they said it's it's cancerous. They said that's cancer. If it would have come back as a 2, then they said that.
Yeah, well,
that
people
wouldn't have been-
don't know what we're talking about, and it's like you've got all these different scores. You got your PSA, you got your free PSA,
Gleason.
you've got your Gleason score.
Well, it's the Gleason that I guess they.
What I am upset by, and folks, if I'm talking about it again, and we're losing audience talking about this, and so fuck you if you don't want to hear me talk about it, because I have to get it off my chest. But the thing is that what bothers me,
Not your chest.
what bothers me,
You got to take it out of your.
what bothers me is that for the last 3 years, or 2.5, 3 years, every 6 months I've had to get a prostate exam, a PSA, and every time before the PSA, 3 months before the PSA, I started worrying about it. And I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of living in this fear of these tests that happen all the time. And that's why they don't give them after 75. Because they say if you get it, you're probably not going to die of that. You're probably going to die of something else first. And I'm sick and tired of this. And if I find at all that I'm lucky enough that this isn't anything more than,
Bump in the road.
a bump in the road, then damn it, I am going to. I'm through with it. I'm through with the whole mess, and I just I don't want it. It's just I don't know. It makes me crazy. And I don't know what to say. I'm trying to get somebody on here. Hold on a second. There we go. All righty, and push 8, and there we go. There's Ray Renati as well.
Howdy do.
So the fact of the matter is that I'm sick and tired of living in fear of this thing, and I either want to resolve one way or the other. If I've got cancer and then they want to just watch it, fine. If they want to zap it with radiation, fine, but let's just get it over and done with. But I'm sick and tired of every 6 months having to worry about a fucking test coming in and wondering what the numbers are going to be, and have this guy go, well, come see me and take another blood test in 6 months and we'll look at it again, And by the way, I came out with a 6.7. I could go in tomorrow, get another blood test, and be down in the 5s or the 4s.
6, 7. That sounds like my A1C score.
Yeah. And who was it here? Who was I talking to? Oh, yeah, it was Kevin. Said he had a 6, and his doctor went, nothing.
It's high for his age, but it's not that high.
Yeah. Mine is just a little bit higher than for my age. 6'5" for my age. But, I don't want to live like this. I'm sick and tired of living like this and living with this fear. More of the unknown than anything else, If suddenly they went, oh, listen, I just found a lump there. You got some kind of cancer. We got to check that. Then I'd go, fine. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying we've got to do a prostate exam to see if there's anything. Yes, Jeff.
If you had your meeting and the result,
what?
The result was that he said, well, here's what we did. It looks about you're okay. How about we get to see you again in a year?
Yeah.
If that
would I be happy? I'd be
more comfortable.
Oh, I'd feel.
Or would you still be?
No, I'd feel very comfortable.
Okay.
The only thing that would make him comfortable is a clean bill of health.
Yeah.
And then he might not be.
Yeah. But you know what happens? Here's the terrible part about this. Okay, let's say I get a biopsy, and let's say it comes out that they can't find any cancer. They didn't find any cancer cells. If they don't find any cancer cells, they can't do a Gleason score. Okay.
Right.
So let's say they don't find any cancer. Now that doesn't mean that it isn't there. So they say, okay, in a year we'll give you another biopsy. What are you going to do? Go have biopsies for the rest of your fucking life?
The only time they might give you another biopsy is if your PSA went up again significantly, and at that point they might have said maybe we would have missed something, and we'll give you another biopsy. I don't think they just give you another biopsy without your PSA going up significantly again.
No,
Alex,
they do.
That's what I was telling you in that letter. That's what happened to me.
What?
That it went up once, and then it went down, and it went up again 2 years later, and they did 2 biopsies on me.
Oh, on your prostate?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you had the prostate biopsy.
Yeah, that's what I told you in that note that I sent you.
Yeah.
That it happened a second time.
And
so I had to have a second biopsy 2 years later.
And they didn't find cancer either time.
Correct.
Correct. So you had to go through a biopsy twice.
Yeah, which is a pain in the ass, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well,
Only 10 minutes.
you didn't have them put you out?
10 minutes.
No, I rode through both of them.
Oh.
Because if you ask me
Yeah,
to put
there was some words coming out of that office, I'll tell you.
wait a minute.
I was thanking the Lord, yeah.
But supposedly, if you ask them, they can put.
For nurses, yeah. Then they tell you, oh, don't have sex afterwards. Oh, are you kidding me?
You're peeing blood for a month.
Come here. I told the nurse, come here, get on your knee.
Oh, well, here's the thing. You can be put out. You can ask for, to be.
Yeah, he'd rather not, but
What do you mean?
They
What do you mean?
nub you up, but it's like
What do you
Every
mean?
time
you still
go
don't.
under, it's dangerous.
It's bullshit.
I want to. Fuck that.
Well,
It's about a half hour of torture.
Yeah, well, I would ask to be this guy if he would put me out, because I just don't.
For the drug.
I don't want to be awake.
If
Got a hammer?
if it's not too personal,
Yeah.
for your whole life, if you've been pretty healthy your whole life, I imagine.
Yeah.
So that's what's weird about this for you. It's unusual. If you've had a lot of weird shit going on in your life, you get numb to it after a while. And you can see Patrick right there. He's looking at it. I've gone through it. And your first time you go through it, you go crazy. But once, you've gone through it a few times, you kind of you deal with it. It is what it is. And I hate that saying,
Yeah.
but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And you got to roll with the punches. You're
Yeah.
going through it for the first time, and once you get through it, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to say, I got dealt these cards, and I'll deal with it.
Exactly. And you'll be fine.
I'm sure that this is not what's going to kill me.
I
No,
bet you
whatever happens, you'll be fine.
My wife's going to kill me, but this is,
Exactly. That's what you got to worry about right there.
but I really would, I would like to be put out. And if this guy can't put me out, I'm going to say, well, can you point me in the general direction of somebody who can?
Yeah, that puts you out if he has to do it. I can't see.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure that they could work something.
This guy, my other doctor was willing, does it that way. And what he does, he has a guy that comes in with the juice and does the procedure. Puts you to
Can they
sleep.
do the
little
procedure at a
happy juice.
clinic? Your beef with the first guy is that his place is filthy.
Well,
his bathroom's
most doctors do this in their office. Was yours in an office, Kevin?
Yeah, it was in his office, but it was
Yeah.
clean.
Mine was at Kaiser Hospital.
Yeah,
They
they'll
in
do
an
it there, too.
operating room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can ask this guy to just, to put me out, and he might send me over to Mount Sinai to do it, but I'm sure if I ask to be put out, he'll.
You know what else was the problem? My vasectomy was a waste of time now.
It never got put to use, huh?
Well, it did,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
it's
You could have
like,
done this.
I don't
and
need
done
it
the same
anymore.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn. That
Yeah.
sucks.
People
you should get
yeah.
your money back.
Yeah.
You should get a partial refund.
Should've given you a rebate or
let's quit.
something.
Let's
The
quit.
worst part was when the good-looking nurse came in and wanted to shave my hair under the balls, and I was a little embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'm all worried about it, and I probably shouldn't be. And it probably this doctor, I don't know what this doctor is going to say. He could just come up with an entirely different take on it. Like, well, let's wait and see. So.
You know what else? If you worry about stuff that hasn't happened yet, it's a waste of time.
Well, you know why I do? Because I'm a control freak.
Rumination.
Because you know what I hate about all of this, for me personally, is that I don't have any control. Oh, I forgot to turn on the light. I don't have. What happened to the light thing?
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, your on-air light wasn't on.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you've got control.
There we go. No, is that I don't have control over the situation.
How do you not have control? Right now you don't have the data to make a decision, and once you do have the data, then you have the control as to what you're going to do.
I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's forget about this and let's move on to other stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else happening in the world that? Besides my prostate. So I may be here tomorrow night, and I may not be. If it's bad news, then I'm, I won't be able to do a show. But what?
They knocked my mother out. I asked her for the biopsy.
For her?
She's in the bed.
What kind of biopsy?
That's just because they wanted her to stop talking.
What biopsy did you have? The colon. It was a colon, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll do that for colon.
They knocked her out, thank God.
Yeah. I think I think they'll knock me out if I want to be knocked out.
No, you weren't. Please. They would never been employed.
Have you heard the Vote Republican song by the Deplorable Choir?
No.
Oh, God, you got to hear that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Is that the one that hit #1 in the country music chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Like
it was done
Phil.
by some Fox News anchors.
Yeah. Well, they were on the show on Fox. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Deplorable Choir.
And what are they singing?
They sing a song praising Trump, and they're like 3 milfs. Yeah.
And Greg Gutfield, or I think he's on it.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, he's on it.
Oh, I don't know who he is. Okay.
Yeah. And
that's not surprising.
Who else? There was somebody else on it that it's from the guys on the Greg Gutfield show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were attached to anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were
if you'd
on
watch
their own.
Fox News, then you'd know.
Well, I watched.
Yes, Patrick.
That's a different thing, Phil.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
It wasn't the one that hit #1 in the country music chart?
The one that did that, it was called "Shut Up About Politics."
That's it.
Oh no, that's a different one. No, these are 3 women. They do sing a country song, but they're called the Deplorable Choir. It's just 3 women. Yeah, 3
okay.
hot-looking
Shut Up
30s
About
or 40s.
Politics. That was it. Yeah.
Different song. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So. All you SAG guys, I'm getting, I'm going in. My friend's getting me membership in the country CMA country music deal. I don't know. He's getting me he's got the application for me, and he's signing me up because I'm going to be photographing for 6 country music radio stations, going to different country music concerts, and so they can use it on the website, and the country stations can use it. 2 of them are in California, and I don't know their call letters yet.
That doesn't mean you can join CMA, though.
Yeah, they want me in the CMA because the guy who's behind it wants to use my vote.
But like, what have you done to qualify to get into the CMA?
All you have to do is pay. And
and have somebody nominate.
Well, then,
the guy's not.
Well, then that's bullshit.
Well, that's not a real union. That's just like an association.
No, it's not a union. It's just
it's an association.
They vote on the award.
Yeah. Okay.
CMA awards, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, what do you know about country music?
I know absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But I know how to take pictures.
How dare you vote?
Well, I'm not going to vote. The guy who's paying for the thing is going to do the voting. So the fix is in.
Really?
Check his license.
Yeah. But I know nothing about country music. I couldn't tell you a country music song or a country music singer if my life depended on it. Taylor somebody. But
she doesn't even sing country anymore.
No. Okay. I don't know who is. I've Charlie Daniels.
He's dead.
Do you know him?
He's dead.
Who? He's dead?
Yeah.
Doesn't he know Rhinestone Cowboy? Would he even know that song?
No, that's
I've heard Rhinestone Cowboy. But
that's Glenn Campbell. He's dead too.
Johnny Cash is dead. That I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Willie
know,
Nelson.
Willie Nelson, he's a Democrat, but
I just bought tickets to Willie Nelson concert. It's going to be in Stanford in October at Frost Amphitheater, and the tickets were so much cheaper than they usually are. Probably because it's at a college.
Oh, well, I should find out if that's one of the ones they want me to shoot.
Oh yeah, because I'll be there, man.
Yeah, and you know, I think the deal is I'm supposed to get backstage access and full access with this type of thing.
Yeah, you could smoke a doobie with him.
Who's your friend? Who's your friend, man?
He's a consultant and a PD, a program director, and he's doing 6 stations right now. But he for 16 years, when Disney owned 4 stations in the Detroit area, he was the PD for them. And
oh, cool.
Most guys don't last 16 years in the radio business in one job.
No, I know.
Okay.
Well, that was one thing.
Well, that's
but he said country music was had more longevity than top 40.
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
Well,
the country music's huge in this country. Even in Mountain View over here, whenever there's a big country person singing, sells out. Traffic for days.
Yep.
Well,
but
wait a minute. But you use the term top 40. That's an old-fashioned term.
Yeah.
It doesn't even apply. No, it doesn't apply today. There is no top 40. I mean, there are the top 40 selling records, but usually they're in all different categories now. Yeah. And so there's the country chart, and there's the rap, the hip hop rap chart. Yeah. There's the country.
Does Billboard have different charts for each one of these?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. But it used to have the top 40, and there was country in there, and there was Sinatra, and there was rock and roll, and the Rolling Stones, and it was just a whole conglomeration. But that really doesn't exist anymore.
It was also the top 100. There was.
Well, it was the top 100 in Billboard. Yeah.
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 Anyway, I'm going to get into concerts. Whether I like these concerts or not, I really don't listen. I really don't listen. Well, I got to get myself in first.
I know.
But, I'm not there to listen to the music when you're
okay.
working.
Well, the show's, once again, it's all about Phil right now. So.
Of course it is. I got the hat on. I bought this for shooting. It's a special hat for being in the sun. And it's good to 50. How do they measure the stuff for the cream that you put on?
Can I tell you this, Phil? It's an old man hat.
Yeah. But I didn't burn my ears or my neck or my forehead. So I was very happy.
You need a redneck to go to a country concert there, Phil.
Yeah, well, I don't need the skin cancer.
I just put a picture of the deplorable choir on the side there.
That's the other thing I asked the doctor today. I said, can you check these sunspots? And they're not cancerous. He says they're just sunspots.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm so upset by all this. I might not even go to the doctor tomorrow. I might just
Why not?
Stiff the whole thing. I don't know.
Then you'll really be screwed.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why would I really be screwed?
Because you'll just sit there and worry some more. Just go and get it over with.
Yeah, weren't you the guy that said that you were sort of paralyzed by, when you'd wake up in the morning from
I was terrified, literally terrified. I was. This thing has completely terrorized me.
You just got to deal with it.
You just need to go and get your answers, Alex. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Go.
Patrick?
All right. The scariest thing that happened for me, and I know this is close to Kevin's heart, and I'm not belittling ALS in any way, Kevin, so just, when I started becoming paralyzed, before the surgery that I had pain in my hip, and I started losing the ability to walk. And every morning it got worse. And I had read up on ALS, just like you did, Alec, where you went online.
Yeah.
I had read up on ALS, and ALS starts from the feet up. And what I had to do, I had to muster up all the courage that I had, I went to my doctor and I asked the question that scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, I said, do you think that I have ALS? And he agreed that a lot of my symptoms were similar. He said that you do not because of X, Y, Z, and all these other things. But it took me a long time to get them to ask that, because that's something that I feared, because when you have ALS, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I was relieved that I didn't have it. So then, even though this other shit was bad, it was at least an answer. So for you skipping tomorrow, go get it done, and you're either gonna hear what you want to hear or not, but you'll have information, and you can move forward. And if you don't, you're gonna be stuck, and you need to move forward. I'm sure Jeff has experienced the same shit, where even though he'd been through a number, you don't want to go back, you don't want to deal with things, but you have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And same thing. He had toes falling off, like like grape coming off of vine. And
hey, Kevin, how do they discover if you have ALS? Is it a blood test, or how do they?
It's a whole series of tests, and I'll tell you, thanks, Patrick. I appreciate that. The thing with ALS is it takes a whole bunch of different tests. It's chromosome tests. It's all kinds of tests, and I know Ray's experienced that as well.
Yeah.
But my friend just passed away a couple weeks ago from it, and he. You talk about no control, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about no control.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing in the frickin' world. I watched him go through it for the last 2 years, and to watch a guy go from a big, strong truck driver to not even be able, for him to say okay when I saw him in June was this.
Yeah. I was going to tell you.
That's all he could do. He couldn't talk. He lost his legs. He kept falling over. He could barely move his arms.
Horrible.
It was just horrible.
How did he breathe? Was he on a assisted breathing apparatus?
He was just getting to that point. He was using a BiPAP machine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went up there to see him in June, we sat on the bed, and the only time he could get up was to go get his suction machine and suck all the spit out because he couldn't swallow.
You choke. That's how you die. Yeah, they die by their lungs. My uncle had that. That was one of the hardest tests where they had to diagnose him. You know where it started for my uncle? It was in his. I will never forget it. It was like around Thanksgiving. I went to his house in Jersey, and his finger was like bent. He couldn't pick his forks up.
Could that have been arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis?
That was the start of the
ALS.
It goes from one person to another. It doesn't have any rhyme or reason to how it does it. People their legs will work forever, their hands will work, and then they'll stop. Their legs will work, and then then they'll stop.
He thought it was arthritis, but
it's a random disease.
Yeah, it's easily misdiagnosed too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've been wondering, because I'm forgetting things and so forth, and so I'm a little worried. Maybe I'm going to be susceptible to Alzheimer's or even dementia.
We can only hope.
They have a chromosome test that I guess there's some way for them to predict whether you're going to have that or not. And I haven't come to the.
I wouldn't take it, Phil.
I haven't decided if I would take it. But do I really want to know? A friend of mine, a guy who comes in, a salesman that used to work for me, his wife has Alzheimer's now, and she spends her day in a chair, and her night on the sofa next to the chair. She can't remember things 10 minutes later, and and it's killing him. He says, "Hey, I don't know. I can't take it." He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go home. He had retired, and then said he took his job back because he just couldn't be at home.
Yeah, caretakers have the worst part of it. Yeah. But let's go back to Alex, because you're talking about control. You have no control over it, so you might as well figure out what's going on, and just do it.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on and how you're going to fix it.
And it's easy. It's easy for us to say that.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
You know,
it is
I
easy,
have
but
not had a
the unknown is going to be worse.
I have not had a doctor. As I say, 2 doctors have chimed in on this, and both of them have said, "Don't even worry. Even if he has the cancer, it's no big
So
deal."
you're already 2 out of 3. You're ahead of the game right there.
Yeah. They both said. In fact, this doctor that Shaggy had said a 6, 7, nothing. He said that's not. That's not a big deal.
He goes to the doctor's office. I'm looking on the bright
I think
side.
I think. What?
I'm going to cheer you up, Alex.
Yeah.
You're because I'm hearing of all these other people. You're sharp as a tack, right?
Yeah, sure.
Your PSA level. Your PSA. No, come on. You could still get in and out of the house. You don't have, my mother's using a walker. I mean, come on. I'm being honest. You know what? It's good to be nervous because everybody's nervous because people getting sick doesn't really have an age number to it. If you think about it, you got a lot of positives.
Well, I feel kind of terrible about the fact that I even feel this way about things because we've got a whole group of people here like Charlie. He's missing some toes and he had diabetes, and Phil's missing a prostate, and Jeff has a pacemaker in him, and Patrick is he's a mess. No, Patrick's got. I mean, Patrick has the best spirit of anybody I've ever met, because if I were in his situation, I would be the grouchiest human being on planet Earth. Then we've got Kevin with his problems. Actually, of the 7 people that I've got on this panel tonight, 5 of them have stuff worse than I could possibly have right now. And
remember,
I'm sitting here,
I got window screen in my heart.
What?
3 of them.
Oh yeah, but all I'm saying is that in a way, I guess I'm kind of selfish in a way, because
It's not selfish.
Don't compare it.
You just
The
don't
C
want to
word
join our
is
club.
always scary. The C word is always cancer is always scary.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that isn't the part that I'm really scared about, because everybody has told me if you got it, it's so curable in most cases, that it's nothing to really worry about in that respect. Yes, Patrick.
I have a big one tomorrow.
Don't minimize your own situation and compare it to everybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
for you, the only thing I think that at least Kevin and I are trying to drum into you is go to the doctor. Go get an answer, because if you don't, you're armed with less information.
Well, I already have an answer. I mean, from one doctor, and he just said, "Well, we've got to do a biopsy. Let's go check it and do a biopsy."
You're not satisfied.
Well, I'm not only not satisfied with this guy doing it. I'm not satisfied with what he's going to feel is the solution, because he's so
The
ready.
idea is you want to be satisfied with what you're you're hearing, and you're not.
Yeah.
The second doctor I went to, I said to him this question. I said, if I was your brother or your father, what course of action would you take? And he said, I'd remove the prostate because you don't have a chance of it coming back. And that was what made put me over the edge to decide to remove it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to return. And because if it does return, it oftentimes is much more virulent than the original one. Yeah. So.
And I'll also say this, that just because you're sitting there thinking this right now, don't think that any one of us were not in the same position when we first got diagnosed with our first piece of shit diagnosis.
Yeah.
We all did the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
You're just lucky that you're doing it now at 79 years old.
Yeah. Well,
we feel lucky that you're doing it now.
Yeah. I mean,
so look at it that way.
Well, if I come
out, started when I was, I don't know, 86, wherever that was.
Yeah. Well, if I come out of this tomorrow with him saying, saying let's wait and see here. And also, I mean, I'm going to tell this guy tomorrow, probably, if I like him enough, that will you be my my urologist. I'm sure he won't say no. Everybody likes getting the business, as it were.
Don't forget to interview him. Don't be too eager to hire him. You may want to interview others before you make your decision.
Yeah.
Don't just you've got time. The other two doctors told you that. So I'm just saying, don't.
Well, my personal doctor, I said, by holding this thing off, this biopsy, is it going to cause problems? He said, no. He says, you got all the time in the world. He said, he says, I can't tell you how many people over the years in my practice who come down with prostate cancer, and only one of them was serious. Only one of them. Yeah.
The rest of them were all joking around?
All of them were joking around, yeah. So,
that's the one he said he saved, right?
No. That was the other doctor who said he saved the guy when he was in 87, and I'm going, God, by then what?
Yeah, well, I think you just go for it, get your answers, and not fret.
Yeah. By the way, Phil, you still peeing your pants, or is that over with now?
I tried stopping the thing that they gave me. I think it was called Santura, or Trespium. It's they got so many names for these generic drugs.
Yeah.
But I stopped it for a while, and I just started it again, and that relaxes the bladder. So by taking that daily, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue, so you don't pee your pants or anything anymore.
No. And if I did it when I wasn't taking it, it was just a dribble. Just
you gotta change it when you're done.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. It's before you're done. It's all of a sudden you got you turn your head, you cough, you if you fart, God forbid.
I hate it when you fart.
Yeah, well, like I've learned, don't do it because you may pee. but with the Trespium,
that's what a pafart is. A pafart.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, but with this little Santorum or Santura, I don't know what they call it. It hasn't been a problem, and it's the same kind of drug that they give women after pregnancy because they tend to have. Oh, you too. Right.
Oh, really? You take it too, Patrick?
I take something different. It's called Vesicare.
Yeah.
I get it generic yet. I get to pay the full fucking price, but it's for relaxing bladder spasms.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, because I can't tell when I have a full bladder or not, I need to have my bladder relaxed so that when I'm transferring or whatever, and I haven't taken a leak in a couple hours, that we have a good chance of not pissing my pants.
Can't they put a meter on your chair that you can plug in to see, how full it is?
By the way, you may not have noticed, but Ray,
like a fuel gauge.
Ray, Ray has blurred out his background.
Yes, I did notice.
And you know what? When you lean back too far, you blurred out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Unblur it.
Well, yeah. I don't. You know something? I don't have that that particular feature. Yeah,
I don't either.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why. And yet, because I'd like to say, I don't have that particular feature.
Yeah. If I go down to the more options, you got start recording, turn subtitles on, turn incoming off on incoming video, hold call at audio and video settings.
Yeah.
But no.
It should be under audio video settings, and I don't have blur background. But if I go over to Marjorie's computer, which is it's a mini Mac over there, she has it on hers, and also if I go to the other mini Mac and go for it, it isn't on that one. So I don't know why one Skype has it and another Skype doesn't have it.
You have 3 mini Macs. Well, I guess one of them is just doing the network.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Do you even have a screen on?
I actually have 2 mini Macs I'm using, and I have a third mini Mac in a drawer somewhere in case either of these go out.
I see.
Well, mine, I just right-click on my photo and right-click on my picture, and it gives me the option.
Well, let me see here. What happened?
I'm on a PC. I right-click on it.
Well, let me see here.
I right-clicking on my picture doesn't do anything.
No, it just says turn off video, webcam, what webcam is, whatever. Yeah.
I wonder if it has to do with the type of camera.
It could be. It could be that it well, no, but no. You see, it can't be, and I'll tell you why. Oh, look, Kevin's now blurred.
Yeah, I use 2 fingers on my trackpad, and tells me to turn video off. I have a webcam C920.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
or I can
is
mute the microphone. That's it.
The camera in Marjorie's machine is exactly the same camera I'm using for Skype here. So it doesn't have anything to do with the camera.
Oh, weird.
I touched my photo a couple times, and it got much bigger. What happened? Yeah, there's like an expansion arrow, and so when I clicked on it, well, that time it didn't do anything. I can't seem to make it smaller either. Oh no.
Well, anyway, enough with that. Boy, what a boring show. We're talking about my fears. I'm just so upset by this.
Well, I was watching the debates tonight.
Oh, here we go.
And the guy from Washington State, Inslee, if he said, "I'm proud," 20 times, he said it 200 times. And, they were going back and forth. They were trying to beat up Biden. I think he's weathered that storm.
I think Andrew Yang must have said he was going to pay everybody every question they asked.
Yeah, Andrew Yang is making a mistake.
I know. Every question he asked, I asked him about immigration. Well, I'm going to pay everybody money.
Well, you see, the thing is, Andrew Yang has a lot more about him than $1,000.
Well, he sure as heck had a lot of crowd there.
Well, he's the Oprah candidate. Because he's going, you get $1,000, and you get $1,000, and you get $1,000.
You get a card.
The thing about Andrew Yang is I saw him on an interview with Ben Shapiro, and Andrew Yang had a lot to say, and he was very.
Who's Ben Shapiro?
He's got a podcast and some TV shows. He's a Jewish pundit.
Oh, with a name like Shapiro, he would have to be Jewish.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I like him. But anyway, Andrew Yang in that conversation had a lot of depth. He was impressive. I think even Ray saw that.
I did.
And,
yeah.
He does have some interesting stuff to say. It's just a matter of whether it's real or not. He claims that he's a mathematician.
He is
with a lot of answers, but
you see, the thing is, he was on the surface with this $1,000. He has so much more behind that.
He's right about a lot of jobs
being robotics
replaced by animation. That's for sure.
No, I need to say, like Phil and I saw this interview. He has so much substance.
Yes.
But he is unable. I didn't watch the debates, but I'm guessing. First of all, I know there's no way that he could explain his policies in a debate.
Right.
It would be impossible. I mean, this guy has this stuff so thought out. I was thoroughly impressed, as was Phil.
Yeah.
But in a debate format, you're never going to find out about it.
No, because that's all he did was answer with $1,000.
Well, that's probably because his campaign people probably told him to do that. But
I don't even know if it's campaign people. I think maybe he's not accustomed to be in front of 100 million people.
Probably not.
It didn't look like it at all.
And he's
really impressive.
Yeah, and they had feedback problems with the microphones, especially on his.
Every week. Every time he's on, there's something wrong with his mic.
Yeah, last time it didn't work. This time he had feedback.
Well, let me ask you this.
There were some. They pulled out some hecklers too.
Yeah, what were they yelling?
That's
I couldn't
what I was
understand.
going to ask you. Huh?
Yeah, I
couldn't
couldn't
understand what they were saying.
I mean, were they pro-Trump people, or were they just
I don't think so.
Anti-Biden people, or
I don't know, but it came up when they were talking about immigration and the insurance thing.
It was Cory Booker had the first group of protesters, and then I think
had some.
Biden, and they didn't do it to anyone else. Maybe they got him out of there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did.
Charlie, you heard it. Did you hear what they?
I didn't watch the
you didn't
debate.
watch it. Okay.
I heard it, and I couldn't tell you what they were saying. Matter of fact, I was thinking that you were listening to it, and I was going to write you and ask you, what the hell are they saying?
I was trying to figure it out myself, but they were it was like, blah, blah, blah,
I'm sure the news has said who they were, what they were saying.
Well,
but I haven't
let me
listened to
see
the
here.
Spin Room or whatever it is.
I'll go to Drudge. He found it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
They'll give you some shit.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Biden stumbles over words and stats. He's running for... protesters interrupt debate. Okay. Let's see here. Protesters hit Democratic debate. I can't breathe. Chants interrupt NYC
That
mayor.
had to do with the guy in New York.
Bill de Blasio over demands to fire a cop. Okay. Two different sets of protesters were ejected. One woman held a sign, "Stop all deportations" on day one. A group of 5 were removed when they demanded Bill de Blasio fire the cop. Let's see here. Who was the other one? It didn't say who the other ones were, but that's what they were. They were over.
I think there was 2. At least when I was listening, there was.
I didn't hear the one about de Blasio, though.
No, I didn't either. No, actually, de Blasio, even though I hate his guts for being a commie, an admitted commie, he did.
De Blasio admits to being a communist.
Yeah, well, he did pretty good.
No, wait a minute. Please, will you explain?
Better red than dead, huh?
Explain yourself, Phil. How is de Blasio? I never heard him say he was a communist.
Yeah. It definitely he said that he's a communist.
No, he didn't. Never.
I am a communist.
Yeah.
They probably said just
yeah, that's a way to that's a way to run for president. Say you're a communist. Come on, Phil.
Well, that's what they say about him.
No, wait a minute. Who is they?
Drudge.
You get paid the big money on this show. You look it up.
No, who's they? No,
he quoted communist terrorist Che Guevara. He quoted him on Thursday while speaking during a union rally in Miami International Airport.
What did he quote him? What quote did he?
He said, de Blasio dropped K's most famous quote as he joined workers who walked off the job and protested poor conditions and compensation. The phrase, which translates roughly to "ever on to victory," was a mantra for Guevara, who became one of Castro's top lieutenants.
Yeah.
So
and there are many other examples of his.
Yeah.
Well, how about the new name Moscow Mitch? I like that.
Yeah.
I saw the mimes. What do they call
things
on Facebook? Memes. Where they got Mitch McConnell dressed up like a Russian general.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're great. I think Moscow Mitch is great.
The best thing that I heard about these memes is that one guy who designed the meme sued somebody who used it for $15,000 and won.
Whatever.
Yeah. Maybe it'll clean up Facebook a little bit if you have to use your own original material.
Wow.
I never post a picture that isn't mine.
I think Moscow Mitch is going to stick, though. If he's going to run around saying Sleepy Joe and lock her up and all that crap, maybe Moscow Mitch will.
I don't think it'll stick.
It's sticking already.
Yeah.
He used it in the debate, too.
Yeah. Well, they were. Also, do you think that Harris didn't do as well this time?
Well,
and kind of got beat up by Gillibrand.
They kind of jumped on her. I mean, they were.
Did, and I've come to the conclusion, just like Patrick, Tulsi Gabbard is good enough to be a Fox News commentator. That's how good looking.
Oh, Tulsi Gabbard is the candidate I would want to fuck. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
From Hawaii.
You know,
Yeah.
at first I didn't think her complexion was that good, but you know what? Whatever the camera angle was on her tonight, she was great.
I have a name for her. She's a kilf.
A kilf?
A candidate I'd like to fuck. Yeah.
Or is it a sylph?
She is.
Yeah.
But
She was
you
good
know what
looking.
happens with my wife though, and this
She is good looking.
This really gets me about my wife. Whenever you see like, what's her name? Tulsi. What's her last
Gabbard.
name? Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Gabbard.
You know, and you see her on screen, rather than say I like her politics, right? She goes, she has bad skin.
She does have bad skin.
She does have bad skin, but tonight she looked great.
Yeah.
A lot of Bondo on.
Yeah, well,
maybe some makeup.
She has some
She has
serious
bad
acne.
skin because of her military service.
yeah, but I mean, if that's how my wife
Military.
judges people. Like, who is it? Oh, was it Marianne Williamson last night? She said one of her eyebrows was too high. And I'm going, you know, this is now how we elect people in America because their one eyebrow is too high. You know,
Marianne Williams, you know, she'll pray and yoga herself into the position.
I like her. She's entertaining as hell.
Yeah, you know, a couple of them called a couple of them liars. I think two of them called Harris a liar, or that she was lying about her health plan, and Williamson was saying that, you know, you guys are in dreamland, and it's going to be a very black day for the Democrats.
well,
And she wasn't talking about getting the black vote either.
with Kathleen Harris tonight. Excuse me, what's her name? Harris. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. With Kamala Harris, they were all kind of lined up to go after her because they kind of consider her a front runner, so they were trying to blunt her, and she held up for herself pretty well. You know,
until the end, she started breaking down. You could see that she wasn't. You know, she didn't go into that phony thing about her being bussed and starting to cry. You know, almost having crocodile tears. But she was close tonight when they challenged her. She was caught off guard.
Her
you could
attorney
see it.
record and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that big time.
how do you think Biden? I didn't see much of it, but how do you think Biden held up tonight?
He if you go from 0 to 10, he was a good 6.5.
Oh, that's my PSA.
Yeah. Well, Biden didn't get trounced, but you know he wasn't that strong. He was okay.
What do you think,
Kevin?
How did Biden do tonight?
I agree.
Kevin?
But I agree with what Phil just said. I think that's what I heard from him.
Yeah.
He was better than I expected, but not 100%.
The question here is, and it is always my big question is, is there a Democrat, and don't you answer, Phil, because we know what you're going to say. Is there a Democrat who can beat Trump, who's the best qualified to beat Trump? I mean, that has the
can beat Trump.
What?
Qualified or can
Forget
beat
about
Trump
qualified. I'm talking about able to get into the ring and score. Okay, win the election. Are any of these people? I didn't ask you, Phil.
Yeah.
I said except for Phil, because we know what you're going to say. Are there any of these people who you think really has the power to go after Trump?
Bernie.
Nah.
I don't know. I thought Booker stood out pretty good tonight.
Booker very good tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do bad.
He might be able to go toe to toe with him.
Yeah,
You don't
step
think
on
Bernie
his dick,
can?
but he's not.
But
No,
it's
absolutely not.
Why?
Bernie's
Phil,
a
I
one-
thought that Alex told you to keep quiet.
Yeah,
He's a
keep
one-
quiet,
he's a
Phil. Keep quiet,
one-horse
Phil, because
pony.
keep quiet because we know what you're going to say. You know, I'm asking the
thought
people.
Bennett-
I'm asking the people here who have a investment in which Democrat is going to be able to go toe to toe with Trump. And I know you're going to say none of them, so let's not even.
Wait a minute.
Phil.
Don't accuse me of that. There was a guy, Bennett. I think he's a congressman.
Oh, gee.
Phil, you're not supposed to be talking.
Oh. I'll mute myself.
Come on, man. Play by the rules, yo.
Yeah.
There he goes. Yeah. Now you can talk.
Yeah. So, I mean, my question is, which one of these people is capable of going toe-to-toe with Trump? Is Biden?
Kamala Harris can fight.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris can
Thinks
fight.
she could.
Yeah. How about Biden?
Well, just because of he's old school. So I mean, just because of who he is, maybe. But I don't think he can.
Do you think he's maybe
Trump in
capable
meanness.
of winning because the working man seems to like him? You know.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, the whole middle of the country like him. So I mean, he's got a big advantage just because of his
And
background.
is he in Pennsylvania? Maybe he can win that state because didn't Trump win Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That could be a political strategy.
well, it's a
Maybe.
question of which one of these people. I'm, like I don't like Biden that much, okay, but
Me either.
I still have to say which one of these guys, which one of these people is capable of beating Trump. And
That's
think
the
5
thing.
or
Is that
6
there's
of
a
them.
there's a thing about debating Trump and how he can win the election. There's two different things.
yeah,
Debating Trump is going to be another story. I
yeah,
mean, that's the way I look at it. Is when you see those two people, whoever's going to be debating Trump and going against Trump is going to be a different story than when people go out to vote for a certain person, because
Yeah.
Trump is going to try and stump anybody that goes against him.
Well, Kamala
Whoever's
Harris.
there,
yeah. But what
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
is,
Joe Biden's
is
going to be stumbling the whole time.
is who
myself.
can go toe to toe
Harris.
with Trump?
That's what
Wait
I
a minute,
mean,
not
yeah.
only in the
Harrison-
debate.
Harris might be able to.
Yeah,
Maybe Booker.
I think Buttigieg could.
And I think, Buttigieg probably could too,
yeah.
because it seems like nothing really spooks that guy.
He's falling apart like a cheap suit.
No, he's not.
He's just
Hey,
trying
mute
to
yourself.
hold.
Mute yourself.
He's just trying to hold out
Phil,
until September.
you're entering into our politics. What are you doing?
Phil, go.
You know,
Go
this
call
is a
Fox
bunch of Democrats talking about who they want to, who would be the best served. Even Patrick hasn't said a word because he knows he's a Republican, and this is not his fight. It's not his discussion.
Phil, if you want to talk,
We
go call Michael
Americans.
Savage.
Huh?
We're Americans.
Oh,
We
Michael
didn't have to. We didn't crawl over the wall.
But
He didn't
we
even
let
roll
Patrick
over the
talk.
wall.
We don't let you talk.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know that there is really a stealth candidate there. I mean, the minute I saw Obama years ago, I said he's the stealth candidate.
Yeah.
Manchurian candidate.
Oh Jesus, Phil, stop it! You're getting boring with that
He
shit.
won twice.
See, that's why I think the Buttigieg has got the same kind of demeanor that Obama had.
Yeah.
He can stand up, and kind of keep an even keel.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had a star in Obama. I don't know if we have that here.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think we have.
And I
not
wish,
yet, anyway.
I wish a lot of these other guys would get out of the way and quit
Yes.
taking up stage space.
So who would it be then? If we don't have a star, there's no star.
I don't think we know yet.
I guess Oprah, right? Patrick?
Oprah, man.
I was just going to say what your side needs
Which
is
side?
to bring somebody on and say, here's our candidate, because that's pretty much what she did with Obama. And I don't know if it's Oprah to do it or who it is, but you need a celebrity to bless that candidate
Yeah.
for the rest of the country to really take notice. Because, I mean, I haven't watched any of the debates, but I'm guessing there are some qualified people on there that are not able to get their message out because they're only getting 2 minutes, 3 minutes here and there.
Yep.
But if they were to go on, if Oprah still had her show, and she had them, and she,
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex Bennett could do it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it, pretty much. When the music came in, all of a sudden, it dumped Patrick. I don't know why, but anyway, Take a dump, Patrick. Anyway, I want to thank Charlie for being here. I want to thank Phil with that dumb, stupid old man hat. I want to thank Jeff. I want to thank Patrick. I want to thank Kevin. I want to thank give me a break, Bennett, Tony, and I want to thank Ray. Boy, that's the whole bunch of them, ladies and gentlemen. And if they would, I'd like them to all wave a big goodbye, and I will wave back to them, okay? There they go. Okay, that's our citizen panel for tonight. And I'll be back again, hopefully tomorrow night, unless I am given such bad news tomorrow that I get just depressed and, can't go by the old axiom, the show must go on, okay? Anyway, coming up next is The Intersection. That's with Jack Bishop, and then tomorrow night I'll be back on again, hopefully at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, okay? That's it. That's all she wrote. See you tomorrow night at 10, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.